Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Discuss, and today's topic is the goalkeeper situation, our new number one, or lack of number one. This is where we'll be wanting your shout as well, but I'll let you know about that at the end of the show. Tom, this is a topic you're quite passionate about, shall we say. What's your opinion on our goalkeeping situation?
I've been saying it for the last season. I don't think we've got a number one, by which I mean Randolph and Adrian are number twos. So I personally think we've got to keep one of them guys. That means getting rid of one of them and then getting a world-class goalie in. But I mean, the fact that Begovic has now gone to Bournemouth, I think that it was your selection, Begovic, wasn't it? I would have been happy with Begovic, but Joe Hart stands out to me. I know he's a bit error-prone. Yes, that's how I feel, Gio. You know, they say your goalie, if you've got a bad goalie or a mediocre goalie, which I think a goalies are good enough for number two position. So I think our goalies this year cost us 10 points, mistakes. You think of the Watford game, Sunderland. Yeah, there's so many games that we can talk about. Our goalies that cost us errors, and yeah, it comes down to the individual performance on the day. But it's, for me personally, we need a proper goalie and Randolph and Adrian they've got points for and against both. You know, both. And if you could put both of them together and make a goalie, that'd be ideal. But unfortunately not. They've both got traits that are really poor, which I'm not going to discuss because we all know what they are for each goalie. So I think we've got to keep one of them and get a world-class goalie in.
Danny, what's your opinion on both our current keepers?
This season, we've seen a lot of mistakes, which the season before we never. I felt the season before, when the two goalkeepers were battling for the number one spot and Adrian was playing well and Randolph couldn't really get in there, even though in the cup games he was playing superb. I thought the keeper position wasn't going to be a problem this year. But this season it has been a problem, hasn't it?
So what's changed?
It's too many errors. I mean, can you say it's got to be the keeper's fault? But with keepers, every error is highlighted. If a striker misses one chance and scores two, you only talk about the two he scored. If a keeper makes two good saves and lets one in, you talk about the one he let one in. So it's not an easy position. No. But
well, the thing is, though, if a keeper makes an error, it doesn't always lead to a goal, though, doesn't it? So you don't talk about those ones either, do you? How many times have we seen Adrian make an error, whether he's tried to skin a striker, he's just got off there? We don't really discuss that either, do we?
Well, against Everton, if you remember rightly, early doors, he came out, totally misjudged the ball, but luckily they mucked it up. Everton back could have been 1-0 up after 5 minutes when he just got back in the team.
So do you think we need a new keeper?
Certainly help if we could get someone better, but can we get someone better? There's only a certain amount of keepers out there that are going to be higher grade, and do they want to come and play for us? That's what we've got to look at.
Well,
Would Joe Hart come and play for us?
Well, I'm not sure about that. Do you think, Tom, this summer there is a lot of keepers out there on the move? You said Begovic has already moved, you've got Joe Hart looking to
Begovic,
you've got
Bournemouth.
Chesney at Arsenal also on the move somewhere as well.
I don't think Chesney's an upgrade though.
No, I don't think Chesney. But Begovic should have been an upgrade.
Yeah.
And for £10 million to go to Bournemouth, why are we not over that? I just don't. I just don't get the fact when you see that the fact that he's gone to Bournemouth for £10 million or around that sort of price. What is that in this day and age of football? It's not a lot of money. It's a bargain. Everyone on Twitter is about it. Like Begovic going to Bournemouth for £10 million. That's a joke. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm sorry, Randolph. You guys are not as good as them sort of goalies. And if you get that sort of world class, that different sort of class goalie, it does improve your defence. You know, they say your defence starts at the goalie, and if you get a goalie that. It's just you know, I don't want to mug them off too much because they've been really, really good servants for us. They've been really good guys, but now we've got to start thinking about if we want to be sort of mid-tables, pushing for Euro every year. Are our goalies good enough? For me, no, they're not. They're not. They're not good enough. Because they're costing us sort of 10 to 12 points a season, and that is the difference between getting sort of 7th and getting sort of 12th.
Are you disappointed, Danny? We weren't in for Begovic. We don't appear to be going for a keeper this summer at all. Are you disappointed?
Personally, I think Bilic has his mind made up on certain issues, and once he's got his mind made up, he ain't going to change. And he has never turned around and said he's looking for a goalkeeper.
Well, we didn't. Adrian's contract was set to expire, and we left it really late until we triggered that 2-year clause.
But with that, is that Adrian sort of like doing the sort of like new contract, or was that the club forcing him to do new 2 years?
We forced it. The club had a 2-year option, so we could trigger it, and we did.
So on that basis, because before they triggered that, all I heard was the fact that Adrian wasn't very happy. Adrian was actually looking to move away. So have we actually got a goalie now with us that doesn't want to be with us, and he's sort of been, I signed that sort of contract, I've got to do an extra 2 years. I don't really want to be here. I'm not saying he does, but what I'm saying is, have we got a situation now? Adrian's a full professional, but in the back of his mind, if that is the case, is he not going to give us 100% if he is our number one goalie? I don't know.
Does it worry you, Danny? It took a while. He didn't sign the contract. We triggered a clause, so he didn't really have any say over it. Does it worry you?
He didn't seem to be happy. I mean, obviously, when you get dropped, he got dropped for Randolph, and obviously, any goalkeeper, I don't care what they say goalkeepers union, but you want to be playing in the first team. Every player wants to be playing in the first team. He's probably put his nose out of joint, and he didn't look happy. But towards the end of the season, he got back in the team. Maybe things have changed in his head now, and he said, if this is the way it's going to be. But it's whether or not they're both good enough, as Tom says. We've got to have a number one goalkeeper. We've got 2 good goalkeepers that make mistakes. Are they good enough?
The way I look at it as well, right? West Ham have always had a history of having really, really good goalkeepers. Yeah. And if you had at the moment, if you had a choice between an informed sort of Shaka Hislop or Rob Green or Adrian or Randolph, would you actually put Adrian, or would you put him above the other 2? I wouldn't. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel, and that was sort of, you're talking sort of 10 years ago, and that is worrying for me personally. And if he costs us an extra 10, 12 points in individual errors, both the goalies next year, that could really be. I mean, you see the difference between sort of bottom and where we finished, and then sort of 8th. It could. You're talking millions. You're talking a lot of money.
Keeper could almost earn his fee back by moving up a couple of spaces in the league.
Keepers' mistakes can cost you your position in the league big time. We've seen it this year.
In the summer post-season, Ireland have obviously had international games. Randolph has made another error where he's come shooting out for it. Anywhere near it. Danny, does this sort of stuff worry you? I mean, he's must be a keeper short of confidence after the season.
I think with a keeper, confidence has got to be massive. When everything's going well, they look a different player sometimes, keepers. When they make a mistake, they can feel the crowd on their back, they can see with defenders, they're not confident in the way they're playing. It also probably breeds errors in defence, because we've had a lot of errors defensively this year, and maybe the confidence from the keeper to the defenders is not there. And if that ain't there, he's a problem in there. But he's been better, hasn't it, recently, but we're still getting tonked 4-0 by Liverpool. After such a great performance against Tottenham, you wouldn't expect it, would you? To me, you can't be putting as much effort in the second game as you was in the first game.
But we all wanted a new keeper. We're not getting one, unless something magically appears at West Ham. I don't think we're getting one.
On that basis, are the club taking the cheap option?
My personal opinion.
Because the fact that they've triggered a 2-year, and then they've got Randolph who's got 2 or 3 years left to go anyway. So are they taking the cheap option out? The fact, if they could have got Begovic for 10 million, we keep saying that, or they could have got maybe Joe Hart for 15 million. So 10, 15, is that really a lot of money? No, for where we are in the Premier League, is that a lot of money? I don't think it is. Even if it's not in their sort of budget plan to spend that sort of money, I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you. If them goalies don't come along very often.
Are you baffled as well?
What I would say is, it's got to be down to Bilic if he wants to keep the goalkeepers, because at the end of the day he should be picking the team. I take it he is, and picking the players he wants. We don't know that, but I'm sure he wouldn't accept a goalkeeper he don't want, because he's not good for a dressing room, is it? He's got to train with these people. They've got to be around him. And he's got to be able to trust them.
In a way, if he only gets sort of like a 40 to 60 million pound budget, and he gets told that you can have anything you want, and if you want a 10, 15 million pound that budget spent on the goalie, he might think, well, actually, I can sort of make do with what I've got, you know.
Unless if that's what he feels, and he wants to spend the money elsewhere, and he's got to make his bed and lie in it. Because if it don't happen this year,
they should say to him, well, the board should sort of make a decision and say, you know what, no, that's not good enough. You know, we're going to give him that anyway. You can have that Bilic, you can have that Slav, but we're going to go get you a decent goalie as well. You know, you go, oh, thanks for that. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
If you were sort of like in whatever job you're getting, and you get a better sort of pedigree of whatever you're doing, you're going to go, oh, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
But we've seen when the club tries to get players in and tell them, oh, we've got you some good players, you end up with Zaza. Yeah. You end up with players that maybe ain't going to make you better.
Do you think, we'll start rounding this up in a second, but do you think that's why it took ages to get this Adrian contract sorted? Do you think the club had their nose pressed up against the shopping window, see what's what, see what the value is of the keepers, and seeing how much it is, and they thought, well, actually, like Tom said, we'll just take the cheaper option, we'll keep this guy for another 12 months at least, and we'll go with it?
Yeah.
You think that's why there was a delay?
Yeah, I think there was a delay because the thing is, and what hasn't helped them is this. Yet again, this year and last year, this is the first sort of with the extra TV revenue. Joe Hart's been banded around at 15 million, Begovic 10 million. Them sort of goalies 2 years ago would have been half that price. So, and we're not sort of financially there as a club yet to sort of spend that sort of money on a goalie, £15 million, £10 million. They think, cool, we spent that sort of same sort of money on Andy Carroll, you know. So they're thinking to themselves, we're not going to spend on a goalie. But unfortunately, that's where the Premier League, and that's where it's going. And if you can't spend that sort of money, we're going to get left, no offence, with Adrian and Randolph, who are sort of really, really, really good, sort of lower league sort of like goalkeepers, and they're going to cost you 10, 12 points, because unfortunately that's the pedigree of the goalkeeper they are.
Danny, I think we've all got faith in Adrian. We all know he can do it. He can be a good keeper. Whether he's good enough for number one, but do you have any faith in Randolph at all anymore, even as a number two goalkeeper?
I don't know what to say with Randolph, because I absolutely rated him. When I see him last season, he was coming into cup games, big FA Cup games at Upton Park and away at Liverpool and places like that, and he was keeping us in the games. Have I got faith in him?
Has he disappointed you? Has he disappointed you?
Yeah, he's really disappointed. But so is Adrian. I mean, he's making errors. Once the keeper starts making errors, it rubs off on the whole team.
But that's what you're going to get when you buy your two goalkeepers were free, essentially.
But this is my point. Just going back to what Tom Starr said. We don't know if West Ham chairman was talking to Berkovic, talking to Joe Hart, trying to find out if they were interested in coming to the club. It's the reason they ain't activated the 2-year clause. They've spoke to these players and they're not interested in coming. And they've gone, we have to have him for another 2 years. Could be the case, couldn't it?
Last question then. Two goalkeepers that are still, while we're recording this, don't have a club for next season, who are free. Would you have taken them over either the current keepers, Victor Valdez?
No.
Yourself, would you have taken Victor Valdez instead of Randolph?
No, not Valdez.
And Man City's keeper, Willie Caballero, would you have taken him instead? No?
No.
So it's a case of 10 million, 15 million, or just stick with what we've got?
Or, I'm going to throw another thing to the fray. People mention the fact that people are going to maybe think, it's been banned around apparently big time with us. John Ruddy, for Norwich. Apparently we've been linked with him. Is he a better goalie than what we've got at the moment? I'm going to ask you a question now. Is John Ruddy, is he a better goalie than Randolph or Adrian?
I think he's better than Randolph. I've lost all faith in Randolph myself, but Adrian, I've still got a bit of faith in him.
So, if John Ruddy comes available, would you take him?
If
and get rid of
Randolph left, yes. But I would also taken Valdez, and I would have also taken Caballero instead of Randolph. I've just lost a lot of faith in Randolph.
If you'd asked that question, I would have said yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Would you have taken him instead of one of the two? So you would have took.
I wouldn't have them two as number one, but I would take them as a thing. But yet again, it's a perfect replacement as a number two. We're not buying a number one goalie. We need to get a number one. We need to get a number one goalie, because 10 to 12 points in our sort of like league position is a lot.
Is it a shame? Last question. Is it a shame that we're not throwing down 25 million and going for Pickford and really making a statement? Is it a shame that we're not quite there yet?
As I say, Gio, whether these players want to play for us, Jordan Pickford might have the choice of West Ham, Liverpool, even going somewhere like Man City. Now, is he going to choose West Ham? He might do, because you're going to play. If he comes to West Ham, he's going to play. But you still can't guarantee, as I say, who we spoke to before we signed Adrian on another 2 years. He might have asked Art and he weren't interested. Berkovic decided he wanted to go and live in Bournemouth. You might have not had a choice.
I think I'll be chatting to you two in a year's time, and hopefully we'll be praising Adrian and not cursing the fact that a year ago we discussed the fact.
I hope you're right, Gio. I hope the fact that they prove us all wrong and they become that sort of like go, and they actually don't do the errors and things. I totally hope that, but you can only go on what we've actually seen, and what we've seen is a couple of calamity keepers, both of them.
Now, this is where we're needing your opinion, as well as commenting below the video on YouTube. We also want you to get your phone out and record yourself for up to 60 seconds, just putting your thoughts across on the West Ham goalkeeper. Send it to the email addresses below, gonzohammerschat@gmail.com. Check out our second channel. Subscribe if you're new, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. Thanks Tom, thanks Danny, I've been Gio, we've been Hammers Chat, thank you for watching.